guys, this is Evan Dukas with the Colorado Garden. I just want to take a minute to kind of review and go over this garden method called Back to Eden. As most of you know, if you're checking out this video, Back to Eden is based on a film. Very easy to search if you just Google it. It's a great film, and it's taking the gardening world by storm. Millions are viewing it worldwide, and it's based on a man named Paul Gauci. And he has discovered gardening with a covering, and I really want to specify a covering because it's more about a covering than really in itself, more than it is about wood chips. And in fact, he's actually getting into his favorite covering is actually what comes out of his chicken pen, which is like highly composted organic material. All of the scraps, his yard scraps, yard waste, everything that he gives to the chickens, gets broken down, and of course his little chicken manure in there and whatnot. But anyway, back to the wood chips though. So I just wanted to quickly talk about how it works in Colorado, in case you were wondering. And it works. It is amazing. Why wouldn't it? All it really is observing nature. And nature works. I believe that God created the earth, and as Paul Gauci said, he made it so that he never has to show up for a day of work. He spun it into motion, and it completely works all on its own. If you go out into the woods and check out the bottom of a forest, it's lush with all growth, and no one fertilizes, no one waters, and all it is just a thick layer of organic wood-based material, leaves and wood. So there's just an amazing amount of information here that no one ever thinks about, because usually we think that it has to be, this perfectly composted green and brown type thing, to add to the soil or even chemical-based fertilizers. But this is what works best, which is adding organic material back onto the earth. And I say onto because you never want to mix in. You should never have to mix in. You should never have to till. If you till, then stop it. You never have to till. You should only just be able to add, and that's all what happens in nature. And if you till this stuff in, then it will tie up the nitrogen because it's wood. It's very carbon-based. But if you just put it on top, what happens is it's just miraculous. Things just start to come alive. My soil was worse, much worse than your soil. I guarantee it. No matter how bad your soil is, this was road base, which is like heavy clay and driveway rock, and this is what's happening, below the wood chips here. No matter what kind of soil you have, sandy, clay filled, just parched ground. There's a nice worm there. It just comes alive because you're covering it, and when you cover it. It preserves all the moisture. It adds that organic material back for all the microbes, the mycelium, everything to just be able to eat and live in. It does bring on pests. It actually does. Now all of a sudden slugs have a place to hide. But you know what? So do their predators. The predators and prey alike. And I would rather deal with some slugs, or even lots of slugs in ground that actually produces than just parched ground, and I'm just stuck with these unhealthy plants all year like before. What else? Yeah, so what's most important is just adding that organic material back onto the earth. Here's what I'm growing in here. As you can see, I have some plants started, and pretty huge zucchini plant, I must say. And they're just, all I did was in the spring, I got them started, watered them a few times to get them in. And when they seem to kind of be taking, I just let them go. And I haven't added anything else. And they're doing wonderful. All the squash here. And that's really one of the biggest benefits, I must add, in a very arid climate such as ours, where, droughts are not uncommon. Is the preserving of moisture is just unbelievable. I could just not water and just dig under there, and the soil is moist and becoming black. So that is just invaluable in itself. Just wonderful. So yeah, I mean, if you want more unhealthy plants and you want to use a whole lot of water. To water, then don't use wood chips or any mulch. But if you want to healthy plants and you want to conserve all that water, use the mulch. This is This is actually dried up, mostly dead arugula. I planted this at the end of last fall, or maybe the beginning, and it was like they were plants by last fall. Point is, they survived with lush green growth through the whole winter. And if you live around here, you'll know that we actually got down to -19 in some areas, if you can believe that, and it is still alive. I mean, it's tired now. It's going to seed. It finally has completed its cycle, but I mean, it was almost as tall as the apple tree, just beautiful and lush. And it stayed alive all winter. It would actually snow on it. The snow would melt, and it would come right back from underneath. So arugula loves it as well, and plants just seem to be so their roots are insulated. So in the summer, you have that benefit of them staying nice and cool and moist, and then in the winter, it actually keeps them warm, apparently. Because overwintering arugula, an annual, through -19 degrees is, I'm pretty impressed. More squash. The apple tree loves it. Great for trees. Great for a good flavor, too, because wood, what you have to understand is these huge trees that the tree servicemen, grind up before they give it to you. These trees are they have root systems that are like 30 feet down, 35, 40 feet down, absorbing all sorts of minerals and trace nutrients that we don't often get, especially in our topsoil these days. So that wood is just full of it as it decomposes and breaks down. Here's another area right next to my lawn. I'll just show you that too. There was a worm. And as I dig deep, the soil is just, the wood chips are breaking down. This is from the end of last year. This only has been here one winter and spring. And it's already breaking down into amazing stuff. So more videos to come in the next year or two of a food forest in all of this. But I also I implemented the same method into my raised beds here. And as you can see, they are just going crazy. So some of these squash plants, these zucchini plants, are the biggest I've ever seen. One of them is like, the diameter from tip to tip is about 5.5, 6 feet. Just huge. So they're loving it. I will add in these beds that I put also a little bit of manure on top, just to really give them that spike, that boost. Okay, and then I did the same with the tomatoes, and these tomatoes, I don't know if you could tell, but these are huge. Some of the tallest branches are actually around 7 feet tall already, and it's only July here in Colorado. So pretty amazing. The tomatoes love it. They love all those minerals that are coming out of the wood chips. And the worms are just, the worms and the microbes, the mycelia, they're just stirring everything up and bringing it down to the root system. Again, you never have to till. It works. So that is my first review on this Back to Eden experiment. It's awesome. Just a lot of benefits. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing here, but many benefits that I'll probably get to in future videos. So stay tuned, and thanks for tuning in, and happy gardening.